Alright. So, this past week has been a lot in terms of Marvel gaming content. And even beforehand, during Summer Game Fest, we got another reveal of one that we're going to be talking about here as well. So we should probably just go ahead and go in order of when things were revealed. So, start with Midnight Suns. So, what were your first general impressions when that was revealed? So that would have been the trailer
cool,
with Enter Sandman.
It was one of those things where it's like, yeah, this looks good because it's a trailer, but I actually want to see how it plays. I mean, and we did get that fairly recently.
Yeah, and then about a week later, we had the gameplay trailer. So we got an idea about them using the card-based combat system. And a bunch of other stuff along those lines. And again, it was one of those things where, we probably wanted to wait until we got a full mission, and a few days later we did. So, let's go ahead and talk about what we saw in that gameplay mission and sort of how the combat style looks. So, you can go ahead and go first.
Like, the way the game looks amazing. The game looks absolutely amazing.
In terms of the visuals and stuff, some of the animations, especially in like the opening, look a little wonky, but it's also pre-alpha footage, so I'm not gonna hold that to. I'm not gonna. Yeah.
You can't really hold that against them. They just you just kind of scratch that together.
It's kind of those are gonna be more refined. Also, Firaxis doesn't really do a lot of third-person stuff, so that also makes sense. In terms of the card-based combat. Deck builders aren't personally my thing. Normally, I enjoyed XCOM.
I don't mind them
when it XCOM 2 specifically when that released. I don't know. The deck building aspect is one of the more jarring / interesting aspects for me.
Oh, as long as it's done well. My always biggest problem with deck builders is that there's 5 cards which are absurdly broken, and that's what you use. As long as it's not that, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, and they've said that they're not going to be doing monetization through the card system, which is good. It's just going to be character skins. So, unlike things like Hearthstone and stuff like that, they're not going to be selling card packs like Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering, and stuff like that.
Yeah, all the card games.
Yeah, so that's gonna be different, which I think is a good end result. I don't think there's much else for us to say on Midnight Suns, just because we were always kind of on the game overall.
It's one of those things where you kind of gotta wait and see. It looks interesting,
one of those,
but
we're gonna cover it because it's kind of what our channel is. But it's gonna be one of those. We'll see how that turns out when it releases. Next reveals happened a couple of days ago at the Sony presentation. So let's talk about that first one, the most unexpected one.
Oh, just
being
Wolverine.
Insomniac's Wolverine. Wow, that came out of nowhere.
I remember watching it. I was like, "Ooh, what's this? Is it something new?" And then we just see claws in the title card, Wolverine.
Yeah, because just like most everyone, we saw the Insomniac logo and we saw the Marvel logo, and we were like, "Oh, it's Spider-Man." Yeah. And then the music in the bar, which was destroyed, and we were like, "That's not Spider-Man." I think I was the first one to call it out of the people in our group who were watching, because we saw his back, because that's at a bar drinking in plaid, that's Wolverine. The claws popped, and it was like, oh boy.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I'm happy we're actually getting, other Marvel heroes. That's not just Spider-Man. As much as I love Spider-Man, he's kind of overdone in media.
Yeah, I definitely am very interested to see how the Wolverine game is done, specifically because I was a fan of the X-Men Origins game that came out, and just sort of how the hack and slash combat system and that type of stuff was handled. Any expectations in terms of gameplay and stuff on your end?
Absolutely not. I still haven't played the newer Spider-Man games, so I don't know what a superhero kind of title is for current. I guess like
the
now.
single player aspects of
the single player
games and stuff like that. Yeah,
like I think the last Spider-Man game that I played was the original Spider-Man 2, all the way back on PS2. So it's been a minute, and yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, I think the only real expectation that I think needs to be met is the rating. It needs to be hard M, specifically in terms of the gameplay and stuff of that nature.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we didn't really get much info outside of it maybe being set in Madripoor and stuff like that. So there wasn't much there. However, what we had more on was Spider-Man 2. And oh boy!
That I don't think I've ever seen a trailer in my life that looked that good.
Yeah, so Insomniac did come out and make it official that was not a CG trailer, that was in-game.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that wasn't a CG trailer.
Oh my, that game is going to be gorgeous.
Yeah. So, I think the first thing that we'll talk about is the suit upgrades that they got. Miles didn't have as many as Peter's did. Miles just had the red added onto the sleeves. Outside of that suit looked good.
His suit's kind of not that intricate though to begin with.
Yeah, so all they really did was add the red onto the sleeves and stuff like that. In terms of what they added for Peter, they cut down on a lot of the excess lines and stuff like that are on the advanced suit. They made the red less orange, and they deepened the blue, so I like the color changes on that. They added a bit more white onto the suit as well, like near the belt line and stuff, which I think is good. Gameplay changes. The Iron Spider arms are being added to the advanced suit in terms of for just general gameplay. I don't know how to feel about that.
Yep. I don't know. I like it. I've always liked Iron Spider.
Yeah, I think because of the amount of exposure that the Iron Spider has been getting since Infinity War, I'm kind of done with that type of costume for Spider-Man, I guess. Because I think that has been done a lot recently, and I'd like to see something. I'd like to see more like traditional Spider-Man. But I think the only reason they're really adding those is because of when they remove the black suit. They need to have something to replace the gameplay void.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You have to take something out.
Yeah, just replace it with something else. In terms of Miles, we're not really certain about what it is for gameplay changes that he's got. We know that he has 2 different lightning colors that are shown off with the orange, gold, and the blue. So those are going to be do a couple of different things. Not sure what we're going to get as much of.
One's probably going to be the upgrade of another. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that or they're just different attacks and stuff like that. So so there wasn't much in terms of that we could glean out in terms of new combat changes and stuff like that. I know that they came out and they specified that the game is going to be a single player story, so no co-op at least at launch. It would not surprise me if they release like a two player like side thing, kind of like how Ghost of Tsushima added the Legends mode, which they added their multiplayer post launch. It would not surprise me if they did that at some point.
Yeah.
So when it comes to both of the characters, it would probably perform similar to how Arkham Knight did, with like either on the fly switching or mission switching through like combo takedowns and stuff like that. And now onto the 2 villains that we at least know and or have an idea about in the trailer, and we'll start with Kraven. We'll start with Kraven. The voiceover and stuff like that. Yeah, the voiceover and stuff like that. Probably Kraven, and he's definitely talking to both Peter and Miles because he uses the term "one of you." So I am very excited about Kraven showing up, because I think the last game that he was in was Amazing Spider-Man 2, and that was not a good game.
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't think he's really had many major appearances since then. Actually, from my knowledge, I think the only other one that he's shown up in was Shattered Dimensions. Outside of that, I don't believe he's had another appearance. I may be wrong on that, though.
I can tell you.
Yeah. And now the confirmed one with Venom.
Yeah.
Wow.
That just announcement was absolutely amazing. Like, it was kind of obvious, like pitch black, just a dark alleyway. Who else would it be? But like, even still, amazing.
Yeah. They announced the voice actor is Tony Todd, so Candyman from the I believe it's the '90s film, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Yeah, so I think that's a great choice, especially with the little bit that we've gotten in terms of that. They've said that the scope of the game is going to apparently be huge versus the original PS4 game. So I think that's a solid. That's a good way to go in terms of that. And they've also said that Wolverine and Spiderman are in the same universe. So it's going to be the same... so Spider-Man and that version of Wolverine are going to have a chance of crossing over.
There's probably going to be some sort of DLC or...
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise... What would not surprise me is if Wolverine has a minor appearance in Spider-Man 2. Like, nothing major, he just shows up for a little bit.
He's probably, like, gonna be in a cutscene, just, like, in the background or something like that.
Yeah, either that or, like, some, like, big stuff is going down and Spider-Man is looking for other heroes to help and he contacts Wolverine or something like that and isn't able to get through or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's as much as we can really go over in terms of those three titles, because we didn't really get much, with Wolverine not really even getting a general release window, so it's probably either late 2023 or 2024 for that.
It's not 2023 because Spider-Man 2 is coming in 2023.
Well, you remember, it's Insomniac. It's Insomniac.
Yeah.
So I could like, if Wolverine was 2023, I could see like Spider-Man being early to mid 2023 and then Wolverine being the holiday title.
If Wolverine were to come out in 2023, it's coming out like the end of December, like closer to Christmas than anything else.
Yeah. But there's probably around 2024 is when that's coming out. With Midnight Suns dropping in March. Yeah, Midnight Suns is the kind of one that we're kind of more iffy on, but that's also just because I don't believe that's really our style of game as a whole. And then when
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And then when talking about Spider-Man and Wolverine, we only have a single trailer to go off of, so there's not a ton there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we definitely just wanted to go ahead and talk about what we saw in that trailer and how a lot of that stuff went down. We're definitely going to be covering Midnight Suns and especially Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine when those come out, because we're the most excited about those. I believe we said that we're going to be recording your first run-through of the PS4 game, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah, when I get a PS5.
Yeah, because he's just waiting for the remaster, so he can hop right into the more updated version.
Well, there's also no point to get it when I can just buy both of the Spider-Man games in one bundle.
Yeah, that with Miles. Yeah, and I also believe we can go ahead and also do the Arkham games with you as well.
I played through one of them. I don't remember which one it is, though.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're definitely going to be covering... next year, we're going to be covering a couple of titles. So we got Midnight Suns coming out early in the year, and then later in the year, Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad. So with those three at least, we've got time with those. With rumors of Superman coming out at some point, then Spider-Man, Wolverine... and that type of stuff, along with new Avengers content. Like, we're going to be doing some Spider-Man and some raid content for Avengers in November. And stuff along those lines. Coming up is going to be good. October, I'll be the one covering Guardians when that releases.
Do not care about that game in the slightest because I don't get to play as Groot, and I'm upset.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's all that we've really got in terms of those three announcements. We're excited to see what is coming up next in terms of their releases and stuff along those lines. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you want to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, and in the comments, go ahead and let us know about your excitement and what you think is gonna go down in the Wolverine and Spider-Man games and stuff along those lines. And see ya.